Welcome to the Jackie Wall Studio Draw a Daisy tutorial where we will create this beautiful daisy drawing together today. I want to keep these tutorials fun and easy, so don't worry about what supplies you have. Just grab a piece of paper, I have my sketchbook, and go check out your kids' school supplies for a pencil or a mechanical pencil or whatever pen you have lying around in your junk drawer. I will be using Micron archival pens. The reason I use these is they do not smudge or smear. They dry very quickly. And they also come in different tips, so you can get as detailed as you would like. I'll just show you the difference here between the 005 right here and the 08. And that allows you to get a lot more detail in your drawings. So if you're enjoying these tutorials, you might want to go pick some up for yourself. First, you will need to draw 2 circles. Usually I freehand this, but today I did use a compass. If you don't have a compass, you can use a bowl or a cup. And the circles I have here are about 4 centimeters or 1.25 inches and about 14.5 centimeters or 5 3/4 inches. I'm going to jump right in with my pen. If you are more comfortable using pencil, go right ahead. You can also do different kinds of centers. I am going to draw a lot of circles because circles for some reason are meditative for me and they really relax me. But you can also do your center with a bunch of dots, a little pointillism. So just put in a lot of dots. You could do a spiral, so just start in the center and work your way around. Or you could even just do some cross hatches for your center. Get creative. This is your drawing. All right, back to my sketchbook. And as I said, I am going to draw a lot of circles. I'm going to make them different sizes. That takes a little bit of pressure off of making everything perfect. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to fill this up with circles. I will be taking out my pencil marking after this, but I'm not going to worry about it being perfect. I want to have some fun, I want to relax, and I want to enjoy the process as much as the final product. As you can see, I'm almost done. I have filled in the gaps around my circles, and I've also outlined that edge. And I'm just going to finish the last of this, and then we will move to the petals. Just get in some detail there for you, nice and close. So you can see, as I said, I find this very meditative and relaxing. Just drawing these circles, not sure what it is, but I like to work and enjoy the process, and I figure that way the final product will take care of itself. If you want to use a ruler for this next step, you go right ahead, but I am just going to freehand it because it will take a little bit less time. So now what I'm going to do is split into sections. Now you notice I do not have a nice straight line. It does not matter. These are going to be petals. So I'm going to put it into quarters. And I'm going to go into eighths. And once again, don't worry if it's not perfect. As you can see, I am using a pencil for this. I will be doing the final in ink. And I am just going to go one more time and split all of those once more in half again. So there we go. I have 16 done. You can do however many that you want to do. And now let's start filling in those petals. Okay, so that now what I'm going to do is start right here. Here's my line. I am just going to go like this, and I'm not going to worry if it's not. These are petals. They should look natural. and I am just going to draw them in. All right. They can overlap if you want, so I can go like that and then just have this guy come up here. And this one's kind of a bit bigger, so I'm just gonna, as I go, just work at filling in all of those petals. I'm coming to the last two petals. I'm going to make that one overlap, give him more of a flat edge. And there we go. Now you could leave it like that, but what I'm going to do is add a second layer of petals in between all of these, because it will add some depth to our drawings. And I'll complete that going all the way around. All right, let's add some more detail to our drawing. I am going to make sure that I have all these petals marked very definitively, and I am going to color this in. Now, if you're using a pencil, you can use darker colors for the shading on the areas that you want to really recede. I'm going to keep working in pen because it's easier for you to see, and I will also show you how you can do the shading with a pen. All right, I have gone in and erased all of my pencil. Unfortunately, my eraser was not clean and I ended up with some smudges, so there's another lesson learned today. Let's go in now and do some more detailing. So I have my 005 and I am going to start adding detail into the petals. I'll start up here. I'm going to try to get it so you can see what I'm doing, and I am just going to take a line and I am going to slowly over and over and over add lines into the bottom, indicating where the petal is starting from. The other thing that I'm going to do is where the petals overlap, I'm going to add a few lines there as well. Now, the more fine of a pen that I have, the more of these lines I'm going to have to create. So yes, this does often take patience. For me, it is quite therapeutic. Some days, not as much as others, but I'm slowly going to lay in that shading of the petals. Another area to shade in is this petal is in the background, so we need to indicate that it's in the background. And so I'm going to just keep adding line after line to add the shading. If you don't have as much patience, obviously use a thicker pen, or with your pencil you can also shade as well. So I'm just going to keep building out the details line by line. You can see here that I've already started to get those ones looking like they're receding in the background, and it really just takes patience and time to get this kind of detail. To get a little bit of movement to those petals, you can put a few lines in between or even up here. Just gives a little bit of detail that it's curving towards the back. And I'm just going to keep building that out. Now earlier I was talking about doing the dots for the inside of your daisies. So that would be like right here. I did not do those circles. I just did some dots and I created depth that way. I am finishing off this flower by adding some dots on the edges of the center. This just adds some depth and makes it look like it is receding on the outer edges. I do enjoy drawing circles, dots not so much. They really try my patience, but it does add a beautiful effect. So I think I have finished it. I've just kept adding lines and more lines to add the depth and to get it exactly the way that I wanted it to look. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so you can see that depth I have outlined over here going around. Adds a little bit more shadow and more lines right there to add also more shadow. I would encourage you to take your time, find the style that you like, develop your own style, and really, art takes some talent, but it really takes practice and a lot of patience. I hope you've enjoyed this video today and that you enjoy creating your very own daisy. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe to Just Keep Creating.